to the wrong man? Then on Cheers, Carla meets the man of her dreams.
I wear my underwear inside out.
And on Family Ties, could the Keatons and Nick think alike? It's all Sunday, starting at 4 on TV 13. This is WHO TV 13 Des Moines.
Yankee Doodle went to Newport trying to be a sailor. The Aussies took his cup away and took it to Australia.
Good morning from Fremantle, Australia, where locals have created a Super Bowl-like atmosphere around the America's Cup. After taking 132 years to get it, the Australians have no intention of giving it up. But responding in kind with an appropriate cultural nuance, the American challengers have answered the Aussies with what might be called the America's Cup Shuffle.
About America's Cup. Don't want to be rude, don't want to be mean, but you wish you were driving a submarine.
When we're finished with you, y'all listen up. We'll have it back, the America's Cup.
The fight songs are in fun, but the competition is for real with national pride and millions of dollars on the line. With the finals set to get underway tomorrow, the pressures are at a fever pitch here in Fremantle, Australia today, Friday, January the 30th, 1987.
From NBC News, this is Today with Bryant, Gumbel, and Jane Pauley.
Good morning, and welcome to the port city of Fremantle on the west coast of Australia, where it's summertime and the temperatures are as high as the sense of anticipation surrounding the America's Cup final. And welcome aboard. Jane is not with me this morning. She has completed the final leg of her journey down to Sydney, Australia, on the East Coast, and she's turning her body clock around. We'll dial her up before this morning is done. We do hope to give you, before this morning is done, also some sense of the excitement and anticipation that's brewing around here as we anticipate the first of the best of 7 races set for tomorrow afternoon, not far from where I'm sitting right now. Toward that end, we are aboard the official flagship of the Royal Perth Yacht Club, host club for the America's Cup competition this year. This boat that I am sitting on right now is a 150-foot state-of-the-art pleasure craft called Part 6, and it's on loan from Connecticut businessman Gary Blonder. We are docked in Fremantle's Fishing Boat Harbor here. It's just a stone's throw from where the America's Cup competition will be getting underway. And in just a moment, we'll be talking with 2 of the key competitors who will figure prominently tomorrow. Iain Murray, who is the skipper of Kookaburra 3, the defender of the Cup, will be joining us, as will Tom Whidden, tactician for the challenger, the Stars and Stripes. We'll also welcome Alan Bond on board. He's a millionaire from Western Australia, and he is the man you might recall who back in September of '83 managed to bring the Cup from the United States down here to Australia after struggling to do that for some time. We will also be joined by Brian Burke. He's the premier of the great state of Western Australia, which is hosting this event, and we'll talk with a couple of Americans who are on tour down here. Coming aboard will be Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. All that's to come from Australia, and we've got more too back in New York, where some folks are at work in Studio 3B. The Australians might say we have a Boomer and a Sheila on the job, and John Palmer and Ann Rubenstein. Let's go to New York.
What do you think he meant by that? I don't know. Well, thanks anyway, Brian. Coming up in this half hour of today, here in New York, we're going to be going to Washington to the White House. We'll be talking with Larry Speakes, his last day on the job as official spokesman for the White House. He's moving to Wall Street. And
later in this hour, financial correspondent Mike Jensen on a unique way of keeping a ballet company solvent.
Okay, now let's go right over the news desk and Bob Jamieson. Bob?
Thanks, John. Good morning. The official report of the Senate Intelligence Committee into the Iran arms affair this morning leaves a number of key questions in the scandal unanswered. And those unanswered questions about the role of the White House staff, the CIA, and other countries mean other congressional probes and the special prosecutor's investigation are far from over. The story from Senate correspondent John Dancy.
The official version of the report, handed out to reporters, basically confirms an earlier draft of the document obtained by NBC News. Intelligence Committee Chairman David Boren said the committee had been able to trace some Iranian arms sale money to a secret bank account in the Caribbean.
We have traced reports of Cayman Islands accounts into which some of the funds were planned to be deposited, but the report cannot reach any final conclusion as to the ultimate resting place of this money.
The official report provides new detail about Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North and the diversion of money to the Contras. Attorney General Edwin Meese testified that he confronted North with North's memo detailing a plan for diverting $12 million in Iranian arms sale money to the Contras. Meese testified that North was surprised and visibly shaken when confronted with the memo. But Meese testified that North was very definite that the money got to the Nicaraguan Contras. In its final section, the report lists 14 unresolved issues. Those are the questions the Senate and House Select Committees and the Special Prosecutor will have to deal with in the weeks and months to come. John Dancey, NBC News at the U.S. Capitol.
In Beirut this morning, a Lebanese newspaper reported that hostage negotiator Terry Witte, missing for 10 days, has been seen in the Bekaa Valley. Amid growing fears for his safety, the newspaper said Witte was moving around freely with the kidnappers of 2 Americans. The paper said Witte might resurface in Beirut in 2 days. In Washington this morning, the administration's plan to cut funds for its vaunted anti-drug program is under increasing fire. At a volatile hearing, the administration revealed it's cutting $200 million a year from its election year plan to start more clinics and school anti-drug programs. The messenger, John Walters of the Education Department, was confronted by New York Senator Alphonse D'Amato.
You've got a national epidemic that is killing our youngsters, and I don't think we have the slightest idea.
The fact of the matter is, no matter how much we spend, $400 million, $600 million in prevention, we know from looking at schools that make a difference. It's policies, it's parents. We shouldn't rely simply on some school counselor to talk to our children about this.
For God's sakes, don't you know what's happening in life? Do you know how many kids don't have parents who talk to them? Stop this simplistic nonsense about we have a program, we say no to drugs, and you're going to have to
Senator.
I'm just telling you that's the kind of nonsense and drivel I've heard continually.
A new airfare war has broken out this morning. Texas Air's Continental and Eastern Airlines will cut their lowest fares on domestic flights by as much as 40% Sunday. United says it will match the restricted fares, and other airlines are expected to follow suit. There was an 11th hour truce this morning in the threatened trade war between the United States and European common market countries. The common market ratified a plan to compensate American farmers hurt by lost grain sales, and the Reagan administration will rescind an order effective today that would put whopping tariffs on things like brandy, white wine, and French cheese. In France this morning, it's not a wheel of brie, but the wheel of fortune that's getting attention. The French, who usually sniff culturally at television programs, are taking notice of an American import. Paul Miller reports on the arrival of one of America's favorite game shows.
This is one French television program Americans can understand.
Pour 2500 francs. Un D. Un D, comme Denise dans Il n'y en a pas. Véronique, c'est à vous.
Rue de la Fortune is Wheel of Fortune, lock, stock, and spinning wheel. Oh, there are a few minor differences. The letter turner's name is Vanessa, not Vanna. But France's Channel 1 got what it paid for, a real American game show. Since it went on the air at the beginning of the year, the show has astounded the French with its enormous prizes, unheard of in game shows here, and its atmosphere of people actually having a good time on TV.
It is something new, just to play and to hope that you will have luck.
For years, the model for French quiz shows has been numbers and letters, a terribly serious affair where people rack their brains to make words from letters and big numbers from smaller ones. A show so revered, the finals are held in Monaco before the prince's family. Millions play along at home in one giant exercise of Gallic intellect.
The goal is not what you earn in the French game. It's just to be brilliant.
The champion French game show and the brash American challenger are now running against each other in the early evening. But they aren't the only games in town. Most Parisians don't watch game shows at that hour. They watch other people from cafes over an aperitif. Paul Miller, NBC News, Paris.
It's almost 7:09, John.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Let's go quickly over to the weather boards, and Joe Witte sitting in for Willard Scott. Joe?
Thank you, John. I'm watching 2 weather storms, one in the west and one in the east. In the east, light snow, but mixing with some freezing rain, a little bit of rain along the coast. New York, Philadelphia, you'll have some slippery travel conditions today. And in the Catskills, perhaps 4 inches. This is a weak storm sliding off out over the ocean, but it will be windy and provide some hefty snows in the state of Maine by later on tonight and tomorrow. In the west, another winter storm. This one now bringing some heavy snows to the Sierras and also to the Colorado Rockies later on tonight. And behind that, rain, gale force winds right along the coast. And it'll be going all the way down to sunny Los Angeles. Not so sunny, cloudy skies and some showers here. Hawaii, sunny and 82, and down under, Perth, 81 degrees today. That's the national weather. Now here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
In our world, we'll see some drizzle and flurries over the eastern one-half this morning. Otherwise, some partial clearing late today. Highs here in Des Moines of 39. With your morning weather, I'm meteorologist Tom Atkins.
Coming up next, in the next half hour, that is, the look at your weekend weather. And now, at 7:09, back to Bryant in Australia.
On Close-Up this morning, the America's Cup. The best of 7 finals get underway tomorrow afternoon here in Fremantle, just off the coast from our position here. And it pits America's Stars and Stripes against Australia's Kookaburra 3. Two of the people who figure prominently have joined us aboard ship this morning. They are Iain Murray, the skipper and project director of Kookaburra 3, and Tom Whidden, who is tactician aboard Stars and Stripes. Gentlemen, good morning. Good seeing you both.
Morning,
First off, how much pressure are you feeling, Iain?
Oh, well, we don't, I guess, we're not really feeling any pressure. It's sort of a bit of a strange event for us because the guys on Kookaburra, none of them were on Australia 2 back in 1983 and whatever. And although we're defending the Cup for Australia, we're really in amongst ourselves. We're going out there to win it for the first time for ourselves. So we've sort of come from nowhere and we've really got everything to gain.
I say that only because the national feeling is at such a fever pitch.
Yeah, it is, but I guess we've been isolated from that, and it's all in front of us.
Tom, this is your 3rd try at this kind of thing, and I dare say when you did it the first time, it was almost done in secrecy. I mean, but for those people who were part of the set. Are you now envious of some of the attention that Iain gets, or some of the support that he gets from his countrymen? I mean, by comparison...
Well, frankly, Brian, I think Iain deserves all the credit he's gotten so far and all the attention he's gotten from his countrymen, and it serves us right for losing last time and having to have it in a different place.
Did you lose or did they win?
Oh, I got to admit they won, but obviously we didn't lay down. We did the best we could, and I think it's made the event much greater anyway, and the visibility and all the media attention, and it's a fantastic event now.
Much is being made of the wind conditions and how much heavier seas will favor you and how disadvantaged you'll be in light air. Is it going to make that big a difference?
Well, I think it could make some difference, Bryant. We'd like to think that we're pretty fast in the heavy air, and we'd like to think that in the medium air the boats are going to be fairly even, and it's going to be great yacht racing, and we have a feeling that in the light air Iain will have a little advantage.
Iain, help us landlubbers out. You said that you thought your boat was, and I'm using your words, more refined than Stars and Stripes. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Well, I guess that came about. I did a lot of talking with one of their designers, a fellow by the name of Bruce Nelson, and he was saying that, and he was looking at our boat, you know, well, we sort of would have liked to have tried a lot of things here and there, and we never really got the time or the opportunity. And there's a lot of things like just radiuses into the parts of the keel and things like that we've done a lot of work on, and these guys really haven't done much work on, and they arrived at a design configuration quite late that they have now that I guess came about from doing a lot of sailing down here and stuff, whereas we really have just concentrated on small little things, changes to our boats, and because we've done a lot of the work that they've been able to do during the sailing series. We did a long time ago, and we were pretty happy where we were, and we've just been sort of refining and smoothing edges off and just doing little bits and pieces here.
I remember in '83, Tom, you said you thought that perhaps your team had peaked too early. I'm wondering, Iain, if the bitter competition in the Defenders finals didn't take too much out of your guys. What do you think?
Well, I hope not. I guess we're going to find out in the next week or so, but the guys are pretty keyed up, and as I said, it's the first time in the America's Cup for all of them, and they've really got the bit between their teeth, and they're ready to go.
What's going to decide this, gentlemen? I mean, we can talk all we want to about strategy and crew work and sales and design and everything else. What's going to be the difference between the winners and the losers out there?
It's hard to answer in a quick one-sentence answer, Bryant, but it's a combination of a lot of things. The boat speed's important, the experience is important, the steering, the luck, the breakdowns, the mental discipline, all the things that go along with it. I'm in my 3rd Cup, and I still get butterflies before the America's Cup, and I do so much racing and don't get butterflies. So this event is it. And I think the people that respond and react to the challenge the best will be the ones that win.
Iain? Well, I guess I see it slightly differently, that it does come down to the people who do react to the challenge, but I think it will come down to who has got the faster boat and who wins the start and who gets around that bottom mark the first time. I think if the boat that gets around the bottom mark the first time the first time. He gets there 4 times first, will probably win the regatta.
Whoever keeps their nerves best makes the proper decisions on board?
Yeah, gets a good start and is fast enough to get around that first lap first. I think the people who, or the team that does that best will win.
You glad it's finally getting underway? This has been a painful lead-up.
Well, you bet. We work a year and a half to race 4 out of 7 races. It seems like a lot of work. Most sports teams have a season. It seems like ours goes on forever. And certainly this week and a half that we've had off in between the KZ7 guys, the New Zealanders, and Iain, seem like forever, but we're ready.
Well, gentlemen, we'll let you get to it, and we appreciate your taking some time out of what is, I'm sure, a busy schedule. Iain Murray, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom Whidden, thank you.
Thanks,
We're going to come back in just a moment with much more ahead from New York and Australia. This is a special edition of Today from Australia on NBC.
It happens only once a year, so don't miss it. Payless Cashway's home remodeling sale. Extra savings in every department to get you started on your project. Like this Kincaid tub enclosure. Everyday low price $37.99, now only $29.99. And save on bath vanities. Price from $24.99 to $279.99. Come on, there's lots more. This is the big one. The once-a-year home remodeling sale going on now at Payless Cashways.
Don't do it yourself without us.
Payless Cashways.
Don't come too close. I have a bad cough and a cold.
No one appreciates the way Mom takes care of everyone until Mom gets sick.
What do we do now? Mom always takes care of us.
That's when the person who doctors the family turns to Robitussin, because more doctors and pharmacists recommend Robitussin than any other cough medicine.
Feeling better, Mom? I was.
Robitussin, recommended by more doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom.
Now at Hummel's Nissan, 3.9% APR financing or cash back on over 120 new cars and trucks. Hummel's has 3.9 financing or $400 cash back on sporty new 87 Sentras. 3.9 or cash back on stylish 87 Stanzas, including the 4-wheel drive Stanza wagon. And 3.9 or up to $800 cash back on Hummel's hard bodies, the new Nissan trucks. Get a great winter deal from Iowa's #1 Nissan dealer, Hummel's Nissan.
Hey, last night Mike Lozano said we're going to have a snowstorm today. Looks like we need a new Center 13 bus. It's ready.
When you want to know what the weather will be like tomorrow, tune to News Center 13 tonight for clear and accurate forecasts with Chief Meteorologist Mike Lozano.
Oh, looks like my ride is here.
So if you're wondering whether to plug in the car tonight, ride the bus tomorrow, or get up early to shovel the drive, turn to Mike Lozano and News Center 13.
Hey, it's not going to be that bad of a storm. It really isn't.
This is Larry Speake's last day on the job at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. As an NBC News White House correspondent during the first couple of years of the Reagan presidency, I came to know Larry pretty well through his daily press briefings, sometimes heated one-on-one discussions of how I might or might not have reported a particular story. So I'm pleased this morning that he has chosen to begin his last day at the White House by joining us here on Today. Larry, good morning.
Good morning, John, and welcome to my office here on the last day in the White House. It's a pleasure to visit with you here this morning.
Well, aren't you going to miss that big, beautiful desk, that gorgeous office, that huge office there in the West Wing of the White House? You're giving all that up.
I'll miss more than the office, I tell you. You know, I guess the thing I'll miss most is the fellow that comes in each morning and builds a fire in this fireplace here. That's quite a treat that I'll miss.
Now, Larry, of the 6 years you've been there, the last couple of months during this Iran-Contra affair must have been the most difficult for you. Hasn't this been difficult for you to handle?
Well, certainly this is difficult, but it's nothing new in this business. I was thinking back the other day, listing crises that really began with the shooting at the president on March 30th, 1981. And there are probably a dozen of them that have been difficult times for all of us, press, the public, and the press secretary. So this is nothing new. It too will pass.
Larry, your thoughts often go back to that day, March 30th, 1981, when the president was shot and Press Secretary Brady was so badly wounded there?
John, that's never far from my mind at all. I think every day that crosses my mind about that fateful day back in 1981 when we were all thrust into the spotlight, and there was so much tension and so much lack of knowledge at that time, and so much of a period that in a way you want to blot out, but in a way you can't blot it out.
Larry, why are you leaving at this particular time? Some people might question that because the president is having a pretty rough time now, and you're checking out going to Wall Street.
John, the most difficult decision I've had to make in this job in all these 6 years is to leave. I wanted to be standing on the Capitol steps when the president left office for the last time in 1989. But the opportunity came, and I looked at it, and it was an opportunity that probably would not present itself again. And I think Wall Street, Merrill Lynch offers the excitement and the pace that will come closest to matching what I've been doing here for 6 years.
Larry, you got a little thing there on your wall. It says, you don't tell us how to stage the news, and we don't tell you how to cover it. It's called Speaks Law. Are you confessing here that you've been managing the news from the White House for the past 6 years?
Oh, we get accused of managing the news a lot, and I guess if the public really realized how much of a seat-of-the-pants operation it is some of the time, they'd be shocked and surprised. But honestly, we do have to present the news, present our public policy in a way that it will be covered by the press. This is the day and age of television, and you've got to adapt to it to survive in this business.
Now, Larry, some of your critics within the White House press corps say from time to time you have been guilty of playing favorites, favoring one reporter or one news organization over another. How do you plead to that?
Well, I plead guilty from time to time, but it's not a serious offense. I've got a lot of friends in the press corps. Some parts of the media are more influential than others, and we certainly deal with them. But that's not to say that we ignore the weekly paper down in my home state of Mississippi should they give us a phone call here in the press office.
What's your biggest criticism of the way the White House press corps operates?
I think our biggest criticism is that they tend to deal with the minutia. They tend to ignore the big picture. They tend to focus on personality conflicts. You know, the budget is never news until you get Cap Weinberger fighting with OMB. Then it becomes news. And I think there's a need to step back from time to time and look at the big picture and look at policy and go deeper into what's news and what's happening in the White House.
And quickly, how are you going to spend this last day?
I'll spend the last day really packing boxes, a bit of nostalgia, thinking back over all these years in the White House that go back really to the Nixon administration. So it'll be a day of nostalgia, no doubt about it.
Thanks, Larry. We wish you well.
Thank you, John.
We'll be back in just a minute. First, this is Today on NBC.
Hi, I'm Quick.
I'm Crispy.
We're new Quick and Crispy brand French fries.
Restaurant fries you bake at home.
In half the time of the leading fries, 'cause we're quick, like me.
And delicious, like those great fries at hamburger places. Golden crispy, like me. You'll love us.
We're Quick and Crispy. Get it? Quick.
And crispy.
For restaurant fries you bake at home.
That's us.
Taste new Quick and Crispy brand French fries.
And he looks at me and his tail is going, man, that thing is bad. And he says, how you doing? I miss you.
WHO TV presents Bill Cosby, masterful comedian and star of the most popular television series in the U.S. A laughter-splashed evening in the round at the Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Wednesday, March 25th, 8 p.m. Tickets go on sale February 2nd, 10 a.m. at the Center Ticket Office in Ames and all Central Iowa Yonkers stores, or charge by phone. Don't miss the fun as WHO TV welcomes Cosby.
Most hot dogs don't quite make it to the end of the bun, so you're left with the end of the bun.
Here you go, Ralph.
That's why Hillshire Farm created bun-sized wieners. Kids like them because they taste great. Moms like them because they're made with quality cuts of beef and pork. And they're longer, so they fit the bun better. You get a bite of hot dog for every bite of bun.
Sorry, Ralph.
Bun-sized wieners from Hillshire Farm.
Just look for this nice young man on the label.
Fact. People in Iowa demand the bottom line.